Please take a seat, get comfortable. Yes, right ahead. Would you like anything? Some water or something to drink, some tea? No? Okay. Yes, please just try to relax. I know our office is right next to a throughway, so it gets a little noisy, but just try to, enjoy the comfortable couch you're on. If you need anything else to comfort yourself, you just let me know. Okay, great. So is this your first time in therapy? Okay. You saw a therapist when you were younger? Well, I can see you're all grown up now. But there's nothing to be ashamed about or embarrassed. Therapy is very healthy, very natural. It's really good to talk and just to get your feelings out there. Yeah. Oh, I'm a big fan of open communication, letting people know what's on my mind. But this isn't about me. This is about you. So, let's start with the basics, shall we? Now I want to let you know, of course, that anything we discuss here is strictly confidential, okay? Yeah, it's just between you and me. No one gets to see my notes except for me. No, not even my probation officer. Sorry, you didn't need to know that. Why do I have a probation officer? It's really not important, don't you worry your cute little face about it, okay? Okay. Let's just get to a nice blank page for you. Okay. Here we go. So, let's start with your childhood, okay? Are you an only child? No, you have an older brother? Okay. Does your older brother share your good looks? You don't know? Well, does he look like you? You know, that strong jaw and those striking eyes. You don't look at your brother that way. That makes sense. Just make a note of that. So, would you say your childhood was happy? Were you at ease when you were younger? No, you got picked on a lot and bullied. It's terrible. You felt like you were very awkward, didn't feel like you fit in your own skin. Yeah, a lot of young children deal with that. Obviously, you're grown up now, and you've clearly filled out and grown into your very lovely, soft skin. I'm sorry, you're right. There is a very strict no touching rule between therapist and client. I seem to always forget about it, but you're right, let's just be professional. So, well, let's move on. So let's go into adolescence. Were you popular with the ladies when you were in high school? You were, okay. Well, that does not surprise me one bit. Oh, you played sports? I could tell you do have that very fine athletic build. Yeah, you just very nice form. But anyway, let's continue. So, oh, I see. So you injured yourself your junior year of high school, and you were no longer able to play. That's a shame. And was that difficult for you? Did that affect your self-esteem? It did. I have to say that, that does happen sometimes, but, oh, I see. So you had a high school sweetheart, and she broke up with you because she felt like you were just kind of not fulfilling your potential. Well, between you and me, I can tell you right now that ex-girlfriend of yours, no matter how many years ago that was, she is very, very foolish. Now, I would have happily sat on the couch with you while you dealt with your injuries, would have been at your house every day, would have known your parents' phone numbers in case you weren't answering. Oh yes, I'm a very dedicated girlfriend. But back to you. Let's move on. So let's talk a little bit about, while we're on the, relationships. After your high school sweetheart, when you split, when was your next long-term relationship? It was in college? Oh, you were engaged, were you? You're not married. I didn't see a ring. Oh, you're not married, yes. You're not engaged either? Do you have a girlfriend at all right now? It's definitely relevant. I mean, I'm your therapist. You have to tell me everything. And you really shouldn't lie. Otherwise, you and we're not going to make any progress, together. Yes, as a therapist and client relationship, of course. I don't mean you and me unless you want to talk about you and me. I'm open to that. No, you just want to focus this session. Yes, okay. Well, let's go back to this fiance of yours. So how long were you engaged for? 2 years, that's a long engagement. What was the wait? Was that on her side, on your side? Are you maybe a little afraid of commitment? Oh, I see. So you broke it off with her. Oh, she was cheating on you. That's terrible. I can tell you right now, I would never, ever cheat on you. Oh yes, I'm very loyal. I'm steadfast. Not only are you going to be the only person that I'm thinking about, I mean, my photos, my wallpaper, my desktop, my computer, photos of us together in our car, on my fridge, a photo by my bedside. I mean, this is all hypothetical, of course. Okay, we can get back to the topic. Yes, I'm just saying, if you wanted to, I would. Okay, yeah, we'll get back to the topic. So, did you find it was difficult after that broken engagement? You had some trouble with trust? Okay. Yeah, I myself, I've had issues with trust too. Sometimes a guy will say, "Have a nice day." And I'll say, "Oh, of course I will, thank you." And then when I show up at his house later, ready for our date, all of a sudden he's like, "That's my job to say have a nice day, after you get your coffee." He acts like he's just being friendly and not like he was asking me on a date, That's not what you mean about trust. Well, I do think that's part of trust, certainly. I mean, how am I supposed to trust my new boyfriend if he's telling me, have a great day, and then when I'm, follow him home after his shift and I'm outside his door, all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I have to call the cops." I mean, how can one build a relationship on those foundations, am I right? I feel like you get me, you understand. So, how have these trust issues of yours affected you in your day-to-day life? So for a while you were just kind of aimlessly dating, kind of going to bars and clubs and picking up girls. Yeah, I have to say, I love going out for a drink, but if you and I do get together, I would not be happy with you going to bars and talking to girls. I mean, you could come with me to a bar and we could go together, but I would not want you going out on your own. No. What am I talking about? Listen, you seem a little confused, and frankly, you seem a bit alarmed. You know, I can make you some chamomile tea if you want to calm down. No? There's no need to get stressed out. I know a therapy session sometimes can bring forth a lot of strong emotions, but, you know, the important thing to remember is not the therapy session. It's me. Well, it is my job as your therapist to really, get those feelings out there, and sometimes that will cause you to feel confused or frightened or, that's natural. There you go. Yeah, see, just relax. Get nice and comfy on the couch. Let's continue, shall we? Okay, great. So let's talk a bit about your job. Do you find that you're happy in your line of work? For the most part? Oh, you had a problem with your boss? Okay. Why don't you elaborate a bit? Tell me about this incident you had with your boss. Okay. You had a meeting and you wanted to get a raise on your salary. Oh, I see, you don't have great benefits at your job. That's a real shame. It's a real, real shame. Oh, and he brought up your education. He used that as an excuse. Yeah, sometimes when I apply for jobs, I also, meet a lot of traction. They say, well, what's your previous experience? And sometimes when they see my resume, they get a little confused. I've actually had quite a few jobs. Worked as a bartender, as a doctor. Well, I use the term doctor very loosely, but I think that, performing an exam on a patient basically qualifies me, right? Anyway, the problem is when my bosses tend to call my references, they do not like what they hear. Yeah, well, between you and me, because this is a confidential meeting, there's two ways I get around that. One of them is that I have several different cell phones. Oh yeah, I have so many cell phones and different numbers. See, sometimes some of my exes, I guess you could call them ex-boyfriends. I mean, I do. They don't call themselves that, but to me, they're people I've dated. I don't know why, but they like to block my number. It's an easy way to get around that. Just get a new phone, get a new number, bam. Sometimes I'll pretend for weeks I'm someone else until they realize who I am, and then it's blocked again. But the benefit of that is that I can just put down these different numbers as references. Oh yeah, I can take on many roles, so that's not the issue you have with your job. Okay, well, let's talk about you. I mean, yeah, that is what you are paying me for right now. I just thought you might want to know a little bit about me. I guess we can save it later for dinner, drinks. You're just going home after this? Well, therapy session's not over. Why don't we just talk a little more and we'll see if you change your mind, okay? So, you said your boss basically used your past education as a means to not give you a raise or increase your benefits. And how did that make you feel? You were angry, betrayed? Oh yes. Well, I can tell you right now that if I were that person in your life, that special person, your boss, no, not your boss. We're done talking about your boss. We're talking about us now. You gotta stay on the same page. I would never, ever do anything to betray you or hurt you. Oh yes, I would. Like I said, I'm devoted, and I would be so devoted to you. And, if you needed a new job, you could just give one of your bosses one of my numbers, and I could just, do a little reference for you. No, you're not interested in that? Well, let's move on, shall we? So let's talk a little bit about present day. I mean, what brought you in to see a therapist after so many years? Okay. Very interesting. So this was sort of a suggestion from you, from your friend? Oh, she's a girl? Are you guys good friends, or? Oh, you've been friends since childhood. So obviously you just see her like a sister, right? Is she cute? You know what? Let's stop talking about this dumb friend of yours. I don't care if she referenced, my company to you, and, she encouraged you at therapy, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. In fact, looking at my notes and our discussion, I don't think you should be friends with her anymore. No, I know that sounds strange and like it's coming out of nowhere, but I am the professional here, and it looks like all your issues of trust and abandonment and betrayal and all of your anger, it's actually stemming from this childhood friend. Like I said, I know this because I'm a therapist. I can read between the lines, and for your own mental health, you should not talk to her anymore. In fact, any attractive women in your life, I suggest you cut them out. I mean, except for me, of course. I am in your life now. I'm your therapist. And maybe more, if you'd like. Where are you going? No, we still have 20 minutes left this session. You should just sit down and get your money's worth. You want a refund? I'm sorry, but we don't do refunds here. But if money's an issue, how about we call this session pro bono, and you can take me out to eat or something. No, you don't want to do that. I've made you uncomfortable. I think that you're just uncomfortable by all these feelings that you're having for me, and where are you going? Well, fine, but you said you had an older brother, right? Do you mind giving him my number? All right, bye. Gosh, that guy had a lot of issues. I wonder if his brother lives at the same address, though.